Let's try that. Now people can hear me. Sorry about that. Okay. Welcome to Office Hours, guys, for 11/9/2015. As always, I am your TA, Joshua Good. Um, quick few things to announce. The grades for Exam 2 and Project 4 have just been posted. So I think Exam 2 got back to you guys last week. Project 2 is now up. Please, if you have any grade disputes, or if you want any regrade requests, please have those within the next week or so. We will look over that, and we will make sure that we get those squared away. Not bad on the project grades. A couple of mistakes that we saw that were very common. I think a lot of the same issues still keep coming up, where most of the errors are coming from check style. So make sure you guys know how to run the program, just kind of as a refresher while you are in your PuTTY environment, or if you're on a Linux computer. If you have the latest check style installed that is running check style CS, and wherever the location of your Java file is, it'll help you run through, make it clean. That way you don't lose easy points. What else? Make sure you guys are Java docking correctly. I'm still seeing a couple of things where usually the @author tag or the @param tags aren't being used correctly, or there's some illegal syntax in there. For your Java doc, or people leaving out comments, that's also a big thing. Method comments, please comment your stuff. It not only makes it easier for us to give points, but in a realistic or industry setting, even though you may know what your code is doing, it doesn't necessarily guarantee that your client or your boss or whoever you're working with, like your coworkers, are going to know what your code is doing. So please make sure that you are documenting your code as you're going through it, especially with conditional statements. That is imperative. I can't stress that enough. But anyway, off of that side note, let's have a great office hours. I will be here until about 7 tonight. So if you have any questions regarding the next project, I believe it's 5? No, Project 6, I think you guys are almost on. So Project 5 deadline, I think, is coming up, which is cool. And then we'll eventually get into Project 6, which will be towards the end of the semester. So that's also really exciting, I think, within the next 2 weeks. So, yeah. If you guys have any questions on that, or if you have any questions on any last homework assignments or any pre-labs or labs, please feel free to ask me. I will be here until 7. So let's have a great office hours, guys. All right, let's see. All right, so looks like we got a Piazza post. Go check into that right now. And it looks like a general question. So this looks like it actually relates to the project, so allow me to pull that up really quickly. I will go ahead and answer that. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, this is I can see that you guys your project is actually due this week, so that's cool. Just double check to make sure that's exactly what he's asking. Yes, okay, excellent. So we're actually on par with you guys. Actually really interesting. So let me review the information first, and then I will look at the question. Okay, so read over the requirements really quickly. Okay. So this question is actually in regards to the search movies question. So let me look at that. So the question reads, hopefully this isn't private. It doesn't look like it. But this may be something that you guys would be interested. If we are searching for a genre, we're supposed to make a program to allow the user to enter multiple genres. Basically asking if they are going to search through the genres of the list, should the user be allowed to search for a genre that, or a movie that has multiple genres? And to answer that question, if we look in here we go, search by genre, rating, maximum length. We see that it will prompt for a user for a genre. We have A, N, C, D, O, R, and the rating. And if we look at what are the genres here, it should work for upper and lowercase, invalid genre rating or maximum length is less than 1. The error message shall be returned, controlled return to the menu. Based on my assumption here, I would not assume necessarily that you would have to handle multiple genres. However, that wouldn't surprise me if you should be able to search. So I'd say on the safe side, I would probably say to answer that question, yes, I would be on the safe side in saying if a movie has multiple genres, and let's say the user wants to search for a multiple genre movie or a multi-genre movie, the list should go through that and return it. So you should consider that. The second thing I would also consider would be second questions asking, when we search for genre, do we include movies who include only the search genres, or do we include movies that include the search genres and other genres as well? So if they search action, and then we include the movies that are only action, or movies that are possibly every single genre or anything else as long as it includes action as a genre type. So I would say for the second type, if they're only searching action movies, I would search for pure action. So to answer that question for the first one, so I'm responding to him. Yeah. So my interpretation of the results here being that if we are looking at the search function for our um, project, if the user searches for a specific genre, I would assume the only thing that's going to be returned out of that list is going to be movies in that specific genre only, so no multi-subgenre. And if a user searches for a movie with multiple genres, then only those movies with multiple genres would be returned to the list. I'm not positive on that, or I'm not 100% positive on that, but that's my thinking gearing what the project is kind of going towards. That's a good question for Dr. Schmidt to kind of clarify, though. So I didn't mention that in the post, but in the case that isn't resolved almost immediately, we can assume, or we should probably be able to safely assume, that if the user searches for multiple genres, the list should return movies with those multiple genres. And if the user is only searching for a specific genre, let's say in this case just action, then it should only return a list of action movies. And those should be displayed for the user. So yeah, that's my thinking on that. Again, I will clarify Dr. Schmidt, or if you email Dr. Schmidt, that should be clarified as well. But good question, because I know that can be a little confusing. Just a quick reminder, we have 30 minutes left in office hours. Please keep the good questions coming tonight. I have been getting, oh, excellent. We do have a viewer in, so if we're not. Yeah, if you do have any questions still, please feel free to submit your questions. I will answer them to the best of my abilities. All right, about 30 minutes. Ah, excellent. Okay, we do have a good question. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's see what we got. Okay. It's not producing. Okay. So the easiest way to approach this for reading all I and J, if you are still with us. Actually, I will email you back. So the student's question was, he has a bit of a problem concerning the second part for Project 5. That is, we need to read it through the PPM file that comes to the program, but it doesn't store enough of the data in the file. So while he's scanning for the next line, he's declaring a new double or 2D array, I should say. He's calling that an int double array, PPM. I should read it out entirely of his code, but he's basically establishing that, and he's going through the rows and columns, and he sets up the for loop. Be careful here. So if you are going to read through all the data in your line, and you are going to assign it correctly, the best way to approach this is with the nested for loops is your length. So let's examine the nested for loop statement and see how that works. So for those of you all listening at home, we start out by saying for int I set to 0. So we guarantee we're going to be at the very first element in that the row. We make sure that I is less than the length of our array. So that's good. So our row length, remember this is the number of elements on a row. That's the first thing we check, and we're going to update accordingly, unless we're going backwards. But for now, we're updating accordingly. So we're going to update I++. Now we go to our nested for loop. Here's where the issue comes in. So we have for int, usually we start with a j or something other besides I, otherwise it's going to get screwed up. So for j is set to 0. J is less than ppm bracket dot length. Here's the problem. So if we are looking for a specific element or we are scanning in all the potential elements for that array or for that double array, we have to consider the length of the columns. How do we do the length of the columns? It's simple. We take each individual row at I, and we take the length for that. Because remember, we could have a jagged array for an image. Assuming for this project we don't, we may. You never know. Assuming we don't, though, if we always want to access the column length, we always want to make sure that we're knowing what the column length is at that particular element in the row. So here we have ppm.length for the row. The way we're going to handle length for a column is going to be ppm and I.length. So for instance, if I was at the first element in the first row, and I want to look at the first row, first column, it would be pp0.length. The problem with this is if you were just to put a 0 for the for the update check, so j is less than ppm0.length, you would only be checking to make sure that you are less than the number of elements in the first row. And that could be indefinite because we don't know exactly how big the file is going to be or what it's going to be storing. So in many cases, what we're going to get is an index out of bounds exception, which isn't good. So always make sure that what we are doing is declaring it to a ppm I.length, and then update j accordingly, and then store your values or whatever you're going to do with it. So that's the best way to approach it. I'm actually going to tell them that now. So basically exactly what I said. All you're doing is making sure that you are looping through the file and that you're making sure that the length of the rows is also matched by the, or not matched, I should say, but make sure that you're going through the length of the row, and then for each row that you're checking each element of the column in that row. So that's all. know that we have about 15 minutes left in office hours, so please keep those questions coming. They are actually really good tonight, so I'm very happy. Cool. Thank you so much. Good to know that you guys are actually seeking help, which is very helpful. Right, remember we have about 5 more minutes in office hours, so please keep those questions coming. Again, I will answer them best of my abilities. All right, office hours are now officially over. Thank you all again for joining me on another great office hours. I will see you all next week. Please email me throughout. Actually, I'll see you all Wednesday. I don't know what I'm saying. I will see you all Wednesday. Hopefully, if you guys have some more questions about Project 5, please feel free to email me. Until then, guys, always feel free to post it in Piazza. Email me personally. Email me at the CSC 116 help section. And as always, happy programming.